everyone, this is Gail from Pretty Presets, and today I'm here with 3 Workflow Wednesday images that I'm going to edit for you. I'm going to edit all of these images using the Workflow collection, and for some of them I'm also going to use brushes. So let's get started. First we have this image here from Chastity, and this is a perfect one for the Workflow collection. I'm going to choose All-in-One Clean Edit. I'm going to choose Contrast a little. I'm also going to go back and do Color Pop a little. I'm going to come down here and add a little bit of exposure. And then just because it's me, I'm going to add a slight vignette. Now I toyed with doing warm a little or not, and I actually kind of like the colors in the background without warm a little. So that is what I would do to this image. Quick, easy edit, cute little image of a girl. Simple. This next photo we have is a photo of what I'm assuming is an extended family. And for this image, I'm not going to use All-in-One Clean Edit. I'm going to skip down to Exposure Brighten a Lot, because this image needs a good exposure bump. And I'm assuming it will. Let's look at our before and after so we can kind of see how much it needed right there. Now I'm going to hit, I'm going to hit Recover My Clipping, Exposure Recover Clipping, and I'm going to come over here and get my brush tool, and I'm going to choose Add Light from the Perfect Portrait collection, which is one of my favorite brushes. I use this one all the time. And I am just going to run this brush over all the people that are kind of in the back in shadow a little bit. And this is a low resolution image. Hopefully with the originally you wouldn't run into quite so much noise and pixelizing like I'm getting here. Just keep going over all these people. And you're going to see it's going to be almost everyone that we're going to use this on, but especially these people in the background that are shadowed. Maybe even a little bit on these faces here. That might be too much on them. Let's come over to our history panel. Just undo those last 2 brush strokes. And then let's hit New, and we're going to do a separate brush stroke on them that we can decrease a little and maybe bring this back down to, I don't know, in the 20s-ish. Okay, and really, I'm not going to do too much more to this. What I'm going to recommend is that because this image, all of the people are kind of centered here in the center, I think this image could really be helped with a crop. And we're going to come down and we're going to choose 1:2. Now this is a ratio. We're not cropping this to a 1:2 image, but we're going to crop it as a 1:2 ratio. And I'm not going to... And then I'm just going to maybe leave a little bit more on the sides, but I'm trying to get out, I'm trying to keep the tree out of the image on the left over there, and click Done. And I think that that helps this image a little bit with a better crop. It makes it look a little bit more interesting. Now if I were to go back over here, you could maybe play around with warming it a little bit. It could maybe use a little bit of warmth. And I think we're done. That's about what I would do to this image. The last image I have here is of a bride and groom. And with this one, I'm going to start with my brushes. I'm going to come over here. I'm going to choose my Add Light brush that I just barely used a second ago. I use this brush a lot. And the focal point of this image is this woman here. I'm assuming she's a bride. One thing I'm going to point out with this image though is that you have to be really careful with your focus when you are shooting a shallow depth of field. And in this instance, she is the focal point but she is not in focus. The focus actually landed over here on the groom's face and beard. So you've got to be really careful when you're shooting with open aperture that you really take note of where you want your focus to be and you make sure to get it there. I'm just running this add light brush over here on all their faces, okay? And I'm trying to be careful not to get it on their shirts. And you'll see in a minute how I'm going to go back and erase if I do get any there, because this is a JPEG and those are already a little bit brighter than I would want them to be. I'm going to tap the O key so I can see my overlay. I'm going to choose erase, and I'm going to come over here and just make sure that I erase it back off of anywhere it's fallen on clothing or shirts, because I don't want to brighten those areas necessarily, but I do want to brighten all the skin. I'm going to hit done. Then I'm going to actually come over here and get my add light brush again. I'm going to type new, get add light again. And I am going to add even some more brightness to her face, because she's the focal point. And I'm going to try to be careful not to get my highlights too much. There's a highlight here on her eye. There's actually a highlight over there I need to erase a little bit too, probably. Turn off my overlay so she doesn't look like a alien anymore. Then I'm going to click new and I'm going to get my under eye circle brush. It's skin under eye circles. I'm going to zoom in and I'm going to use this brush just to add a little bit of brightness under the eye here. Careful not to get that highlight that's right on her cheek under her eye, but just careful to get these a little bit darker sections here under her eyes. And I might actually do that twice, hit new in between, and then do that again. Okay. I'm going to close, I'm going to zoom back out. And then for this one, I'm going to come over here to the same workflow collection. I'm going to add white balance warm a little. And I'm going to add a little bit of contrast. Just contrast a little. And then let you see kind of the before and after. I think that's a much better way to highlight and feature her. And even though I do wish that she was maybe a little bit more in focus, I think it can still work in this instance. So anyway, 3 edits with the Workflow Clean Edit presets, all a little bit different, and using the brushes, the Perfect Portrait brushes, in a few as well. Thanks for being here.